I hope we're not live. I don't want anyone seeing me
We
now.
are live.
Oh no.
There we go. Welcome, everybody. Today it's 12 noon, and I am Julie Cameron from Action Coach Birmingham. And today I am joined by the lovely John Whitbread, who has two kind of fascinating businesses to talk to us about today. So, welcome, John. How are you?
Morning, morning. I feel like I'm on a news show. I'm like, good morning, I'm John Whitbread.
I love it. That's what I do on a daily basis. But yeah, so firstly, John, thank you so much for joining us today. If you are listening on Facebook or LinkedIn, please drop me details into the comment box. If you've got any questions for John as our chat kind of progresses, then please do let us know. We will be looking at them. Say hi. We've also got Tanya Gordon, who's one of our attendees online on Zoom at the moment. So hi, Tanya. If you've got any questions for John as well, then please do let us know. So firstly, John, she's saying hi. That's lovely.
I know, Tanya.
Firstly, John, tell us a little bit more about you. Tell us about your business journey. What did you want to do when you left school?
Well, when I first left school, I think I wanted to be either an accountant, a chef, or a superstar DJ. The many years ago that it was.
Oh, DJ, I love it. I love it. So what happened? Because you're not a superstar DJ, all right?
I know, no, I don't know whether I think we all wanted to have that. I can remember I was at junior school. I wanted to be an RAF pilot as well, but I was at junior school. I wanted to be a chef. Loved cooking. Mum's cooking weren't the best, so I soon had to learn how to do cooking. My dad was like, "There's no money in that. You don't do that. You want to be an accountant. You're good with figures," and that was always drilled down my neck. And then I got into DJing, I think as everyone did 20 odd years ago. And I did love design and sort of the engineering side of things. So I went into love like the idea of graphic design. And so I was a trainee draftsman. So going on to CAD and things like that. And I was doing that. So I did that for a fair few months, but I was so passionate about wanting to be a superstar DJ. Soon it was Wednesday, I was DJing in Leicester, Derby, and all sorts. I had to lie about my age to DJ down in these places. And so one of my friends had been to Ibiza on a holiday, and he was like, and I was like, let's go. We'll book a holiday, see if we can get some work, and if it don't work, we'll come home. And that was it. Within 2 days, I got a job chefing, believe it or not, and I was DJing at night too. So that was 20 years ago. I packed my job in as a draftsman. I thought I can come back to that. I'm just going to live this little dream first and be a superstar DJ.
Love it. I love it. So what changed? Why are you still out in Ibiza, or is there something you're not telling me?
Well, no, I'm not a superstar DJ. I don't. Well, they're just. I don't know. I just enjoyed living out there. I did 3 seasons out there. I was sort of chefing, and I was managing a sports cafe, and I really loved it. Absolutely loved it. And then I moved to Spain. I lived in Spain for a few years, and then I moved to Ireland. And so I've travelled around a bit, and I love that. And I was managing. It was a posh pub opposite 5-star hotel, and I started doing gardening on the side. I love gardening. Always loved it. Always. And initially it was John's Lawns. I thought I'll just get a van and I'll do that on the side. And before you knew it, I was John's Lawns and Landscapes. And for me, it was perfect. It's designing. It's my hobby. I think my 14th birthday present was a greenhouse. So it was just me all in one running this business. Yeah. And I loved it. And it was doing really, really well. And in short, I just woke up one day. It was like Forrest Gump, and I thought, I'm going home now. It was like that. I've been on the road for 8 years. And that was it. It was the Thursday, and I just had enough. And by the Sunday, I was coming home. I was pulling on my mum and dad's drive. Just had enough. So it was literally like a Forrest Gump moment.
Have you always had that kind of entrepreneurial spirit then? You've always seen the next opportunity and kind of just gone for it?
I've always been just a little bit special, I suppose. I think when I was at school with my friend, I was like, come on, let's go and wash some cars. So I got some leaflets made. And we turned up at someone's house, and he thought, he was expecting a business. So here's me, my mate, 14 years old, cleaning his caravan down or whatever. And I did the school radio from the second year. And I just I made a tape up when tapes were out, give him a tape and said, I've seen you got some equipment, listen to that. And that was it. I was doing the radio for 4 years. So I've always just thought outside the box. I won't accept it as it is. And I suppose, and that, you know, it's always been signs of it even from that early on.
Yeah, no, I love it. So obviously you've come back home, you've rocked up the driveway, and then what happened?
So 11 years ago, I rocked up back home, and I'd learned a lot. Always loved business, and I'd learned a lot in Ireland from the importance of community. Really, that was really just I've learned so much about that. And so I set up a Facebook page. It was in my local village, this spotted local village, 11 years ago. I thought, you know, just for a laugh, I want to help out. And it turned out it's a real good notice board. People were sending messages, and I got nothing out of it other than my little bit to try and help the community. And that's where it started. And then it grew really big. And I just got help. I got a few people to help me because the messages were just rolling in all the time. And that was my little bit. But then I thought, you know what? I've done all these extraordinary things. I'm going to try and be a normal person and get a job. So I got a job at a factory down the road, and I started at the bottom of the ladder. I was a night cleaner for a brick plant on the night shifts. And my vision was, I'm going to run this place, me being me. And I was there for 7 years, and I got nearly to the top. I was got to a point, I'd done my engineering degree, and I was sort of like the engineer had been sacked, put it nicely. So I was running the engineering department. So I was one step from the top. I was nearly there. But me and the MD didn't get on, and he said, "You'll always be a cleaner to me." So that was it. That was my moment. That was my moment when I decided to leave there. So
Wow.
I know, yeah. But thing is, I'd gone from the bottom, and I knew I knew everything, but I had a lot of respect. And I don't think he liked that. And then, you know, I loved it. I was passionate. I put me all into everything I do. So I just thought, you know what, it's time to move on. You know, maybe my time's up here. So I went, and then I was a maintenance manager at a factory, and I was there for 18 months. But we're coming onto the app now. So Facebook changed a fair few years ago, and it started bringing adverts and these algorithms. And I noticed that my spotted pages, because they really grew quite big then, and they weren't as effective as they used to be. People always asking for a local, people sending adverts. And I thought, this is long-winded. So I thought, I'm going to make an app that's a business directory. You go on there, and it just shows who's the closest business to your location. No algorithms, no biased adverts. So because it's always like, you know, it's always focusing on the trades. Where's the thing that shows everything? And you pay more money, you're at the top. And I thought, it's fairness for me. So this is where the app started to, in my head, I thought, there's something not right. And so I had my job, and then I was doing the job and doing the app in the background. And we had a disagreement with MD there. I was on a water saving project, and I was saving them millions. Doing this project with saving money with the water, and we had a similar kind of discussion. Really, it was a chicken factory, and there's a bit where they go through a hot bath, and so we had a chat, and he called it something else, and I was like, "What do you mean?" And but he was talking about toilets. And so in my head, I thought, how could I have been so completely wrong? So I laughed. How you don't even know this factory, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to do my app. So I sold my house. Which meant that I could quit that job to put my all into the app. And so that's the last 11 years in a really short space of time, up until the start of last year when the app was released.
Okay, so you have
immense journey.
It is an immense journey, and it's kind of like, but what's really highlighted from the offset is that you've seen an opportunity in every single way. Do you know what I mean? And you've been really self-driven, you know, to all those people out there that are kind of, you know, you've started at the bottom, and you're like, you know, I'll only get a couple of rungs up the ladder, or I'm quite happy with that. You've never settled. You want more, you know. So I mean, there's probably people out there that are kind of going, yeah, okay, I can create an app. Well, I know I can't create an app. So what's the process? You know, what did you go through? Kind of the pitfalls, the advice. If anybody's out there that's listening and thinking, well, I've got a really good idea for an app, how did you go about it?
You can have a great idea for app. It could be the best idea, but the hardest thing would be the marketing side as well as make the app. So I can remember I was on holiday in Egypt. It was the very start of the most of the holiday. I was sat with my pen and paper, and I was just drawing the blueprints. This page will look like this. This will go to this, and it was like the map. of what the app will do. And then I sent that out to loads of developers, and the cheapest was $7,000 in India, will get it made, and the most expensive was 150 grand in London, you know, for the same product. And so, yeah, it's a lot of money. So I went at the bottom middle, which was still a lot of money, and that then took maybe 9 to 10 months to get made. And even when it was made, then it got sent to me, and you're testing, you're trying to break the app, and that was very testing. You know, I can remember I had to almost I locked myself in the kitchen, got in the zone, and I'm just trying to break it. Right, if I've done that. There's a lot of work, and even then, when the app's made, then you've got to market it, which then is a whole beast in its own right. You know, that's maybe even harder than actually making the app.
Yeah, Steve on Facebook was just asking a question. Really, what was going through your mind and the emotions when you took the decision to sell your house?
Well, see, my light's doing that flashy thing. I was trying to move my camera a little bit. So the decision was, I could get another job if I want. Now, I never believed in pensions, believe it or not. I never put money into that. So I got that. The house was always going to be my pension. So I put into that, and I was renting it out. So it isn't like I put everything on the line. Don't get me wrong. I had my house, and I had that house, which was my pension. So I put the pension, everything out my pension pot went on the line. So I wasn't putting myself in risk of being on the streets, don't get me wrong. But I sold the house. But for me, I've got this one opportunity. I think there's a window there. I think that there's still a massive need for something like that. I could still keep going to work and keep trying to do that, or I could miss the opportunity someone else does it. I thought, you know what, I'll do it now. And if it don't take off, I'll go and get another job. So, you know, and selling the house was part of making sure that I could give it my absolute all. I don't want to do it half-heartedly without swearing.
But it's so true, because I think sometimes people are, it's that mindset, isn't it? You know, one thing that's really coming across is how positive a person you are, and the fact that you're going to give it a go. And if it doesn't work, you've got a backup plan. You can go get a job. You're employed.
It's like when I went to Ibiza to DJ, I thought, well, you know what? I'll just come back and get another job. A job's a job. They look at you as a number. So you know what? I'll look at that as a number. We're here to live and give it my all. No regrets.
Exactly. So the beginning of 2020, is that right?
Yes.
App launch?
The app launched at the very start of the year. So I think it was 2 weeks before New Year. It was that 14th of December it came out. So at that stage, I was just getting the businesses on. So I did a launch the 1st of January, and it was going unreal. So I sold my house, and every month my money was coming down. And it was at the time, it's a 99p model. So every business paid 99p a month. That's it. Flat rate. It's nothing. You know, it's peanuts. So I needed to get these numbers up to the point when I couldn't pay the bills, that would take over. And that was the plan.
Yeah. Okay.
And it was following that plan.
I was going to say, so it's following it. So it's going like that. It's going like that. And literally, the model is any business out there.
Anything. Dog walker, accountant, web designer, the lot.
99p a month.
It was.
For the whole of the UK, or was it just?
Yeah. When you go on, it's actually free now. The app is. We haven't got to that stage. It's actually completely free. The app is. I am really passionate to help. So you put your business on there, and you add the services that you provide. So a landscape will go right. Then I do lawn cutting, and I cover a 5-mile radius. I do this, and it's a 10-mile radius. So as a customer, I go on, and I can actually take a photo of a job, take a photo of the lawn. I need quotes on this, and all of the circles that I'm within. So all of the businesses that work in that area will get a notification. Here's the job. Do you want to put a quote in? And it will just contact them together. Just put the 2 links together.
Wow.
I know. Yeah. Fantastic. And it's promoting your local service. So the closest businesses are always at the top. It's all about promoting your local community. You know, that's really what I'm passionate about. And fairness. No one's put to the top of the list or anything like that. We're all on a level playing field. You can check reviews, all sorts, and it's free. You know, I've completely swung it around now. You don't even pay to put your business on there.
Why is that?
I want to help. So the app has given me an immense journey. I was networking everywhere. You know where we're going with this now. So I was networking everywhere. I needed every business with a heartbeat to know about this app. I was networking everywhere, all over the Midlands. Two sessions a day. You know, I was really giving it some. And without the app, I wouldn't have done all of that. So now I run networking groups, which for me pays my bills. And and that helps local business too. So I'm really content in what I do. So for the app, I'm not trying to get the money back from that. I want it to work. I want it to help. So I've done 180 and it's an absolutely free model. And the only thing is on there, as long as you're an active business on the app, it will show you. So if you've not done anything on the app in 3 months or 4 months, if you've not been on it, it will just hide your listing. So it gets rid of dormant businesses. So it's always a live app.
Steve's asking, what's the app called?
Spotted app.
Spotted app. There you go.
Spotted
Steve.
app. Yeah. If you go into the App Store or the Play Store, put in Spotted app, you will find it, and it's a free download. And you go to the bottom corner and you just add your business, and it's that easy. But for customers, you just go on there and you can just search. You can do there's a little search bar at the top. If you just start typing in, it will match the word. So if you start writing in accounts, it'll give you a live list of businesses that have that word within their description, which more than likely is going to be accounts. But you can do a little search through filters and things like that too.
Yeah. So obviously you then said about networking, and this is how we met. So literally, so networking. So here you are, beginning of 2020, the app's going great, absolutely amazing, and you go networking left, right and centre, and then wham bam, March comes and we have the lovely, dare I say it, the C word, COVID hits. So what happened then?
So this when it really tested me. So when the app came out, it was going unreal. I was hitting the numbers and more that I needed to do. And the people that made my app, they made purple bricks, they made some good apps. And they was like, we've never, ever seen growth like this ever. Well, not being funny, it had to. I had no choice. So, when my networking was working. And then within 6 weeks, I've been invited onto Dragon's Den. It was really shaking. It was making some noise. And then March came. So my numbers were going like that, and it was a 2-week lockdown, if you remember, initially, only 2 weeks. And so my numbers plateaued, and I thought, I can get them numbers back. You know what? Give it the 2 weeks, we're all back to normal, and I will get this back. I've done a couple of online networking groups, and I felt sick because I really loved networking. I felt sick. Is this what we're left with? And it was never in my plan. I thought, I might dabble at doing some networking 5 or 6 years time, but it's all on the app. And I thought, is this what we're left with? At least we're going back to normality soon. I felt sick. I was gutted. And then they announced that it was going on longer. It weren't just a 2-week lockdown. And for me, my theory was, you know what? These big runners have been running this race for years, and they've all gone back to the start line, and they have no idea what they're doing online. And that was my theory. And I thought, you know what? I'm joining you. I'm joining you, but on this race, I want to be a part of that. So I set up my first networking group. Within that 3rd week, I got my first networking group up. Local businesses, we all want to support each other with the ethos, how can I help you? We all want to help each other, working as a community for each other, not trying to sell. So I set my first group up. And it turns out there's a lot of people felt the same as me. For me, it was either really relaxed or quite formal. And I wanted the middle state, the middle grounds, and I couldn't find that. So that was where I was pitching. That's what I made what I wanted to find myself. And it turns out a few others felt the same way too. So I set the first group up, and then 2.5 months, 10 weeks later, set my second group up. And then the third, and I was going all around East Midlands. They're just growing really, really well. Just a fresh approach, taking networking to just the full focus on supportive and all about one-to-ones. That's all it's about. Because if you're having good connections, everything else will follow.
Yeah, I mean, just kind of thinking, obviously, about the app and about people going online. That obviously, in these massive increases of people like looking for products and services online in apps and things like that. After that initial couple of weeks, did you find that people were then returning back to the app, or were you finding that the figures were still plateauing, that there wasn't the demand for it?
It's been massively uncertain. People just restricted back. They tightened up the belts, even though it's only 99p. It wasn't even about the price. No one knew where they stood. They didn't know if could go in houses. That was the bottom of people's priority list. It was, I think a lot of us just went into survival mode. So looking at a new fancy idea kind of just not yet.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not ready for that yet. I've got to just do what I need to do. And so it was still growing, but not like that. It was very slow, 1 or 2 businesses a day. Now in full growth, I was growing by 30 businesses a day. So it really just really slowed down. I thought, well, I can't fight it. I can't make things happen. We've all got to just do what we've got to do at the minute. And so I just let the app. Then that's when I thought, you know what? Because it was always a 2 months free first anyways. And I thought, this is here to help. I want to help. I'm not trying to get rushing to get any money back or anything like that. Without that, I won't be where I am now with the networking. So I just put that as a free, absolutely free model. And it's always tweaking. There's always a little bit of an idea. I think I can make it a little bit better, and giving it what the people want. So the next idea is to make it where you can link external reviews to the app too. So you could look at that and see an overall review. So linking Trustpilot, linking Facebook. So you see it as an overall review
so
for businesses too.
I was going to say, so linking, like you say, it was Facebook, LinkedIn, Google, all of those, like Trustpilot, all of those, so that you're getting a better, so it's like a one-stop kind of review.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So at the minute you can only add your review.
Now let's look at Google, Facebook, etc., etc. No, it's a really good, so it makes it slicker, makes it easier to do it. No, that's brilliant. So obviously the networking then started, and I know that your ethos, the name of the networking group's Cognates. So what does Cognates mean? What does that name? Well, and obviously you've talked about the ethos about wanting to help people as well. So obviously that's coming through like wholeheartedly from you. That is your mantra. That is what you're wanting to do. Do you find that there are like-minded people on your networking groups, or is it just kind of they're just networking?
It's full of them. It's amazing. I feel so lucky to have met so many amazing people. I really, really have. I just do, and I thank everyone at every meeting, because without them it won't be where it is. And it's the support. Sometimes I come off the meeting just in awe of how much everyone wants to help each other, and that's lovely. But the journey with the name, initially, it was called Spotted Networking. Because for me, I thought it's still me driving it. Spotted app, Spotted Networking. It's all the brand. And it's me, the same ethos. But after a while, I've done a lot of research and understanding marketing. And even though the app's got its ethos, it isn't the same as the networking. And I thought Spotted doesn't give it its full grit. It doesn't really give it what it deserves. So I did this, I call it the thesaurus journey, where you go in, you look at a word and look at a word and look at a word, and you go down a trail of also words that mean similar things. And it was always about like family, community, support, all being the same but different. We've all got each other's backs, and so that's really where Cognates came from. So there's many reasons to it. With Cognates, if you've got 2 words from different languages but they're the same, there's all of that, or distant relatives. It's all that relatives, family, and I was talking about community too. So, and I like the fact that the cog is in there. You initially think about cogs, and actually the meaning doesn't have anything to do with cogs, which I think is fantastic. And I think I like that you don't know what it means, because you accept it. But then when you do look into the dictionary and then you look deeper into the meaning, actually they all work really well. And I like that. But I like that initially you think Cognates, is it like small cogs? That works either way. So for me, I thought, perfect.
Perfect. I was going to say, for people out there that are kind of thinking about trying to find a new business name, is one that you kind of like really researched and really went into it, took you days, weeks, months kind of like to come up with a name? Or was it, would you say to people, just find one that you like?
There's a couple of ways. So I was nearly going to call it Pride, because Pride of Lions, Pride, and all of that. And my heart was set on it. But you then also have to think about website, SEO, things like that in the long run. And I would be fighting against a lot of things. And for future, you got to think further down the line too. So, and I was really set on that, because I thought, we're at Pride, we all work together on their own, but when the pack are on the hunt, you keep out the way. And for me, it was all like, oh, that's what we're like. We've got each other's back. We're licking each other's fur and everything like that. But when we're on the hunt, but I could picture this lovely idea, but it didn't work. It wouldn't have worked in the long run. So, thinking of a name, there's a few things you got to look at, and look, see if the website's available, the name as well. You want an easy website name that isn't going to get misspelt, or it isn't too long, and there's lots of things. So I left it for a week because I was that set on that. I had to almost reset my brain to then go again and not be sort of go down the same route. And for ages, it was between two words. And then when you start thinking about a word too much, you're like, cognate. I don't know if I like that. Cog. And you overthink it then as well, don't you? And then again, I just left it for another week, and you put it down. I'm like, I'm going with that. So it's not an easy thing, because it's giving you the identity.
Yeah, it is. And it's something that you can't necessarily change halfway through your journey, can you?
No.
You're kind of stuck with it. But I mean, it really resonates with me, because we talk about relationship marketing as marketing strategy, and relationship marketing, part of that is networking. And one of the things we always say in Action Coach, you either find one that you enjoy and you go to, or you create your own, you know? And actually creating your own sounds simple.
Sorry. Good job. I've got a clear notice.
You're like, I can create a networking group out there. It's so easy. There's loads of people wanting to network. What would you say to them? Is it easy, John?
There's so much more to it than people would realise. So much more to it. You would think, I've only got to do a 2-hour call once a fortnight. What's with that? That's just the cherry on the cake. It really, really is. It's so much involved. There is so much involved. There really is. It isn't hard. It isn't easy. It is hard work. But so is any business. It is business. You got to stick to what you believe in with your integrity, and just do the right decisions that's right for you. And for me, I'm always looking after the teams. It's so important to me that we look after the teams, and there's so much involved. There really is. It is not an easy task. If you do it, fair play to you. I will shake your hand. It's amazing. I welcome everyone. There's something for everyone out there too, and everyone runs it differently. And I welcome that too. And I like to work alongside neighbouring networking groups too, because some says this one isn't for me. No worries, but these are also on offer. To work collectively with everyone, it works so much better than to go against people.
Yeah. So the ethos behind Cognates is all about kind of relationships and relationship building and helping people. So for that accountability for members that join, it's all about those one-to-ones.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
So why was it all about the one-to-ones for you? Why wasn't it about the business that was passed, or the referrals? Why was it about that relationship?
Now, because not everybody joins for the referrals. And at the end of the day, you will get what you want out of it. If I know, just through doing loads of one-to-ones, making lots of new connections, that the value in them is incredible. If it's bouncing ideas around, passing leads, and everything, even doing all of these, if you do track referrals, it still basically comes down to one-to-ones and learning about each other. I think that's a nice heartwarming way to approach it, because that caters for the people. Some people have joined my group and gone, I actually don't need any more work, John. I'm just very, very lonely, and it's nice to be part of a supportive community. And that then caters for both of them. And for me, as long as, I don't want it to be a drop in and drop out, pay as you go. I want a committed team. So our accountability is on one-to-ones. You have a one-to-one with everyone every 4 months. It's about one a week. As long as you're doing that, you're keeping a good community of businesses between yourselves, getting what you want out of it. And if you don't commit, it's like buying the gym membership and then sitting on the bench outside. What's the point? And I know that I know we all do, that as long as you're doing one-to-ones, you're not trying to sell to them. You're just trying to look at, is there anything I could do to help you more? This is my client. If anyone says these words, that's a brilliant example of someone that I work with. Or, if they moan about these things, I've got a problem with this. So if that moment arises, put them my way. And that's it. So just create that great sales team between each other.
So what's the vision for Cognates? If we could fast forward the time to 5 years, 10 years, what's the vision? What's the idea?
So we will have franchises all over the country. We will have franchises.
So I know that you've just sold your first franchise.
Yep.
To a lady within the area. So talk to me about that. Again, there'll be people out there that are kind of interested. It's so free because Steve's just messaged kind of going, what's the vision for the future? Franchise Cognates? Yes, Steve, you took the words right out of my mouth there. But you have franchised it out there. So what's the process that you go into? Because there'll be people out there that are thinking, well, I could do that. I can franchise. Is it simple? What's the process?
So I've got my first franchisee, and she's doing incredible. She's doing absolutely incredible. She's launched a second group in Northampton 3 weeks ago, and she's doing unreal. She's doing absolutely unreal. I had a plan together. I taught her everything that I do, just mimic coming from engineering to I've systemized and standardized everything. So it's almost like a welcome pack. Right then, we're going to go through 1 to 10, and by 10 you will be able to run your own meetings. But it's more important it's the right person. They got to have that ethos, that passion to want to help, with experience in business and networking also. And so she's doing incredible. And I said to her a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if I've gone off piece a little bit with what the question was. How are we doing so well? Well, how are you bringing in all these visitors? What are you doing? She's like, I'm doing everything that you taught me. Damn, I thought there's going to be a little bit of secret that I didn't know of yet. But I've just got my army is around her. It's so important. But for me, it's still the same as my members. I'm creating an opportunity for her. She's got a successful business there, and she's helping others too. So it's still all in line with everything that we're doing. And it works around her family life too. So she's conducting school runs. It works around at home, around the family life. She's getting a good wage, and it's in the business plan in 2 years that she will have every Friday off too, because that balance is so important to me too.
Love it, because I know that work-life balance is something that the reason why a lot of people go into business for themselves is
but never do it.
But then equally don't appreciate how difficult it can be to achieve straight away, especially when your business is in that infancy stage. It does that hand holding, that ability to help it walk. It's like having a child, or having a baby. Do you know what I mean? It's really fascinating, I suppose, when you compare it to the likes of a child. That's what a business is all about, really. So you're looking for your next franchise? So you're looking for the one after that?
So believe it or not, initially I wasn't looking for a franchise, because it's been the most immense 18 months with everything that's gone on, backed into a corner, been on my knees, everything has been on the line. It has been to the knuckle with everything being on the line. And the plan initially was launch my 5th group, and then this year, just enjoy what I've made a little bit, have a bit of me time. But I saw this opportunity, and I could not miss it. She was just the perfect person, and it was there. And I thought I can't miss this opportunity either. And it also helped her too. I didn't want her to miss this opportunity. So she's been my pilot franchise, and it's gone incredible. I'm thinking about taking 2 more franchises on towards the end of the year, and just give them full on real close-knit training and do that. And then next year I want to give them all. I'm not rushing anything, because it's more, I've got 5 groups. I don't want 2 more, because I need to make sure I'm giving all members my all, and for her too, and to train the franchisees. So I'm looking to start 2 franchises towards the end of the year. And then 5-year plan, hopefully I'll have 50 odd, easy.
The lessons learned from the first one?
I don't know, because she's done incredibly well. I don't want to take any credit for what she's done. She's done immense, and I don't think there is anything that I can't. There's no lessons at all. I'm so proud of what she's done. It's gone fantastic. There's no lessons learned, other than sometimes I just need to not trust, but just back off a little bit. And she's just got my back. I've always got her back. And sometimes I just think, because every week I'm like, how's things going? Are you all right? And I think sometimes, I don't know if it's too much or not, but then you overthink it. You want to just be the best boss, as such as I am, the best I can be.
So is that the one thing that Cognates would scream at you? So if Cognates could talk, okay, and we talked about this question before you went, actually. So if your business could talk to you, what would it say to you? So if Cognates could talk to you, what would it say to you?
If Cognates could talk to me, I think it would put its arms around me, give me a hug, and just say, John, chill out a little bit. Enjoy it. You've got this. We're doing all right. Just relax. We're doing good. And I think I just want the best for everyone. I really, really do. And I want it to make sure it's working for everyone involved. And I think it would just say, breathe. I think in a nice, really nice way, just to comfort me and go, we're good. Don't worry. That's it. Because you'd always concerned, don't you? Oh, I hope it's working for that person. I'll have a one-to-one. It's doing fantastic, John. Don't worry. And I get reassured again, like, yeah, just relax, John. That it's doing well for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And what about the app? If that could talk to you, what would that say?
The app would say, give me some more juice. I'm ready to roll. I want to go. And and the app would be screaming that now, because it's like a coiled spring. The world has been, the last year, I've just slowed down with what I've put into it, and it's ready to roll. It really is. And it's desperate to go. It's desperate to help. And I think it's screaming out, come on, get me out there. It's almost like that Scrappy-Doo. Let me at him. It'd be like that. I could just picture it just then. I'm holding it back. Not yet.
I love that. And is that kind of like the marketing aspect, John? Is that the challenge for it at the moment?
Marketing, get the word around there. And I think I'm going to go back to hyperlocal, really bring it in, let everybody know, because the latest upgrade about the footwear, an old business, if they've not been on the app in 4 months, that only came out last week. So until that the directory got livened up with the reel of active businesses, so it's only now I need to start looking at marketing again. It's screaming out marketing to spread the word about. It's here to help, and there's no catch.
So when you're talking about marketing, what do you mean? What's your go-to where marketing's concerned?
Oh, marketing's a beast. I love it. It's just spreading the word. It's Facebook, LinkedIn, it's the local communities, it's everything. It really is. I'd love to fly planes over with things on. I'd love to do anything I could just to help marketing. I'd love a really incredible advert that went. I'd love it. There's so much to do. You don't know where to start.
Yeah. So for you, if there's somebody out there that's kind of going, right, okay, I need to market and I've got a product that's similar to you, what is your go-to? Is it networking? That's
absolutely. Networking is absolutely fantastic. I went to another group last week, and it's nice to go and visit other groups too, and just marketing the app. And it's just making the awareness about it, telling people word of mouth is the most powerful marketing than anyone, and it's trusted than anything else. The amount of times I get a leaflet in, and whichever is the lucky one that's at the top gets the read of the 3, not even 30 seconds before it's the other side and going out the kitchen window into the recycle box. That's that. We're at instant gratification now, aren't we? So, but word of mouth is so powerful. So networking is key. It really is. And everything else is a beast to tackle at least. Where do you start? Websites, SEO, is Facebook and LinkedIn. Again, they've got 2 different types of clientele. I'll be Facebook for talking to the community, talking to the customers, LinkedIn to talk to the businesses. So there's, for the app, it's got 2 parallel projects going on at the same time as well.
And I suppose that, when you're thinking about both the app and your networking group, they work alongside each other, because again, it's your customer base, isn't it? So your LinkedIn, and they're interested in both aspects.
Exactly. Yeah, there is. And everything's good in its own different ways for different businesses too as well. Some businesses aren't even on LinkedIn because there's no need for it. Some will be more on Instagram as well. There's something that is it gives you a better purpose than others.
Yeah, I think it's fascinating. I think, like you say, marketing is just a huge thing, and I love networking. That's how we met, networking, and it's so it's key in creating those raving fans that talk about you organically. Without you doing the work, but that's a relationship building exercise, and relationships take time, don't they?
Yeah, I can remember when I first started networking, and with the app, and so many lessons learned. You think you're going to go into there, do a mic drop moment, everyone's going to be chomping at the bit. Where's the app? Come on, give it to me. How naive! What you do when you start networking? I bet you've seen me before. It happens when you first start networking, and it does. Or the judgments of, I've got no business with you. Oh, we've got to have a one-to-one. And that's absolutely wrong too, because you don't know who they know, and the support, you've got to look at everyone in a blank canvas and not even look at the job that they do, and build the relationships. It's so important. Like, know, and trust.
Like, know, and trust. I mean, it's so true. I mean, we always talk about, that it's about mindset when you go into a networking group, and, everybody goes to a networking group to sell. And what key to remember is that nobody goes to a networking group to buy. So if you kind of go in there, well, actually, nobody's here to buy, but if I actually get 4 one-to-ones or 5 coffee chats and 2 big meetings, out of that networking group, then it's been worthwhile.
Yeah, definitely.
That change of mindset, instead of kind of going in and going, actually I'm going to sell, like you said, mic drop. I love that, mic drop, everybody buy my app. It's like, instead of going in there thinking that, if you go in there thinking, well, actually there's 10 businesses here, if I get 5 coffee chats and 2 hour-long one-to-ones, then that would be awesome.
Yeah,
and then
exactly.
you feel like it's worthwhile, and you feel like you've actually accomplished something through that networking group, and it's been worthwhile going. I think there's so many people out there that actually still believe that you go to networking to sell, and you don't.
No, you don't. There's different styles of networking too. So if you're sort of going speed networking, you're blatantly going there just to try and sell and potluck, see if somebody wants your service at the time. There's sort of the committed groups with the 1-seat policies, and that's about your team. It really is about your team and having each other's back. And there's sort of pay-as-you-go models, which you build long-term relationships over a long period of time. You could go and chance it and try and sell to the room. So many styles, there really is. I do loads of analogies. I always say when someone joins up like an induction, like, know, and trust is so important. And say you had an electrician come move next door to your house. He comes and knocks on your door and says, "Hi, I'm Steve." Don't know who Steve is. "I'm Steve, I'm an electrician, and I'll come and change all your plug sockets for you for free." You'd still tell him where to get, because you don't trust him. He goes back to his partner and goes, "I've got a heart of gold. I'm giving him that. I can't do any more for them. I'm not interested." In this country, we're terrible. We don't like, know, and trust you. Don't matter what the offering is. It's so important that we have to like, know, and trust you.
Yeah, no, and it's so true. So obviously your networking groups every fortnight. Why did you choose fortnight? What was your thought process before kind of when establishing the networking group?
When we launch a new group, it's weekly, because it's building them, gelling them connections, so important. But then after that, we're fortnightly, because at the end of the day, everyone's working. We've got to work. And if it's weekly, I think it's just a little too regular, that you've got to try and work at the same time. And monthly, I think it's just a bit too long enough that you start to drift off or forget or whatever. So it was, in my eyes, it's just getting the balance. At the end of the day, we're all going to business to work, not to go and visit networking groups. At the end of that's the main part of it. So that that's sitting in the middle of the fortnightly.
Mm-hmm. And there's a big debate, obviously, over 1-seat policies or not 1-seat policy. You've gone down the 1-seat policy. What's your rationale behind that one?
Someone actually, I love it when people challenge me, because I love to bounce ideas around. I love a good challenge, and someone I raised that with me this week too. And some people join because they like that aspect, and someone who's well established in business, they wouldn't be bothered about if somebody else was in the group who does what they do, because you're comfortable that you both offer something different. So they'll go, and so a 1-seat policy doesn't work for me. I get that, but for me, it's more about making it easier for the other team members. So it's not about you, it's always about everyone else. So I get a job for a website, I know who to put it to, not go, "Oh no, I don't know, I'm going to upset someone." It's easy, and it's for that reason, it's making it as easy as possible for everybody else to know where they stand. If I get a job here, I know who to put it to, and not feel like I'm in an awkward situation. And that's why I really do back, like, have one group and do that well. Don't flaunt and do 8, 9, 10, because it's all about friendships and relationships, and good deep relationships.
Mm-hmm. And obviously you limit your groups numbers in your networking as well. Is that for the same reason?
Same reason, because I don't want to cram you in. I've got something in my eye. I don't want to cram you in like sardines. I want every business to flourish. So, like, I don't want to say, right, you can only talk about within reason. There's still some businesses obviously do cater and do a lot of services. So we cap at 25, because that's a great number. It's a great amount of sales reps for you to have, and that's a lot of one-to-ones to keep up with. And if you've got 25 sales reps, 24 sales reps for your business, eyes and ears, and all you've got to do is put aside 2 hours a week to look after them, I think that's ample. And the meetings run well. There's a huge reach within that. And if you start to go more than that, the friendships then start to get challenged, because it's a lot of time to put into nurturing them. It's more about quality over quantity.
So I asked you about the app and sort of like said, if somebody was starting out with an app, what would you do? So it's the same with the networking group. Obviously you started this out last year. So, what advice would you give to people thinking, well, actually, I'm going to there's no networking groups that I like out there. They don't offer me what I want. I'm going to set up my own. What would you tell them to do first?
It's be very clear on who you're reaching out to. Know the person that you want to reach out so it resonates with someone. Don't say, oh, it's for anyone and everything. It don't mean anything to anyone. So it's got to resonate with someone, more people like yourself. So that has to be very clear, I would say. And there's a lot of work got to go into it. Although that it's a lot of work. You need to have, I'd say, half before you launch, have a good idea of half a group that's willing to have your back and support you. If you go in to start with not knowing anyone, you are fighting a good fight.
So if I turn around, John, and say, right, okay, tomorrow I'm going to set up a networking group. It's going to be called Julie's. And let's just make it up as we go along. This is the agenda. I'm going to run it. It's going to be awesome. Is that what you do? Or do you kind of like test the water first? Now you said get a group of people to be interested in joining. Do you kind of market it first? Do you go around networking groups to get those people? What's the biggest tip that you were doing apart from like know your target market?
When I very first started, the very first one, so when I was in that position, I had that idea and I just went through a load of my connections and said, and I had an email together. This is my idea. This is my proposal. Would you like to pop along? And that was it. And it was just sending it out to the masses of who I thought it would resonate with. And that was it. And really, if no one came back, it may not have happened. And it's that I just sent that out, put the feelers out there, see who was interested. And there was a good number. And I think, right, let's go for it then.
Cool. And
running a networking group is so different to being in a networking group too. It's another skill set all over again.
I was just, honestly, John, listening to your story, it's kind of like, and it starts from like school. You had an idea, you wanted to go and do that, you went and did it. Do you know what I mean? You had an idea, last year, COVID has affected a massive amount of people out there, a massive amount of businesses. But what's clear and is coming across so well from you is that, okay, rubbish happens, but it's actually what you do about it that makes you a better business person. And there's been a lot of businesses that see those takings going down, 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 and your costs are still going up, or you've still got your costs, and people have put the duvet over their heads. They've kind of not embraced it, not pivoted, not diversified. You have. What is it about you that other people could take from that? Is it the motivation? Is it the whole mindset? How you do actively learn about business in your spare time? What is it that keeps you up on a morning and keeps you going?
Just do it. That really is it. I'll think about it, not dwell. I'll have an idea and sleep on it. And if after 2 sleeps it's still there, act on it. And it really is that. You have an idea. Sometimes you have wackest of ideas, don't jump at everything that goes into your head, but do a little bit of research too, and I always have that thing. If as morbid as it sounds, I don't want to be on my deathbed and have regrets. I want to go, well, I had a go at that, if it works or not, but I'd rather look back and think, well, I had a go. That's all that matters in my eyes. And there's that aspect too. I don't want to. You only live once. Well, you're only here once. I don't want to say you only live once. You live every day. You're only here once.
Yeah. No, and it's true. I mean, we talk about perfection. We have a lot of clients that always turn around and say, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. I don't want to launch like a website until it's perfect. I don't want to launch that until it's perfect. And to me, perfection just doesn't exist.
No, you'll always be chasing it. It'll never happen. It'll never be the right moment, and you've missed it. Because with the app, it's still learning. It's still growing. If I left that, you missed the boat. You've just got to go for it. Just do it. Just do it and learn on the job. I think even the chap who did Virgin, there's a few of them, they say, just do it and you'll learn on the way, kind of a thing. And I think, because otherwise you think, you worry and you stress, the anxiety builds up before you know it's too big. You know what? I can't do that. You're better off just cracking on with it, and you just chip away at the little bits as they go along. And before you know it, you're halfway there.
So if anybody out there, just before I finish, if anybody out there is interested in the app, we've popped the link to the app on our Facebook page. It's there. So if anybody wants to have a nosy, feel free. We'll also pop it, I'm sure Pam's probably popped it in the background on our LinkedIn page too. I was going to say about Cognates, obviously, if people are interested in coming along, then what should they do? Should they get in contact with yourself or
get in touch with me? Yeah, go on the website, cognates.co.uk, and you can come along and visit and see what it's all about. It's positive, fast-paced, it's all about building connections. It's a different, fresh approach to networking. It really, really is. And I don't let anyone sell to the room. And like we were saying earlier on the pitch, I really help. I have a one-to-one with every member, and it's all about teaching it, making it as easy as possible for the other members to know how to help you. And that's what it's about. So it's just a nice breath of fresh air with no pressure.
Yeah. What's your just before we go, I was just thinking my favorite part, I'm a member of Cognates, my favorite part is the one-to-one roulette. Love it. For those people out there, it's you don't know where you're going or what I think your line is.
The stat line, look at it, the line, I love it.
You don't know where you're going or who you're going to see.
You don't know where you're going, you don't know who you're going with. I'll see you back in 6 minutes.
Exactly. And so you go into this room and you've got a random person within the group that you've maybe talked to yesterday, but you've maybe not talked to for 2 weeks. And you have this 6-minute roulette one-to-one. It's awesome. It's just different, isn't it? And then further on in the meeting you have another one. What's your favorite part of the meeting?
I like the intro round because I think it's so powerful, and I don't think everybody really understands the power of it. So some people, when they introduce our meeting, you get to introduce yourself to the room. And so there's nothing worse than someone say, I'm an all of marketing, I do this and I do that. And I think I know loads of people that do that. I want you to stand out from the crowd. I want you to be short and catchy, and that USP that when I say that or someone hears that, they're excited. And so they play around because we're a supportive group. People play around with that, and I like that. But then the other side is when they've got that real catchy one, and it's some people have brought some brilliant ones out, and then I see other members saying it on social media because you're teaching the group, this is how I want to be introduced, and you ram it down the neck. This is me, blah, 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 blah. But then they do it on social media, and I've seen it so powerful, and there's a bit proud moment, I think, and that's the one I love because there's some really, really catchy, and powered marketing is incredible. And some businesses, the big ones, they pay thousands for these little lines and these little moments. And for me, that's the fun one, when I see people getting playful with that. And then when they've got it and they're doing it and they're proud of it and they're doing it every meeting, I like that.
Perfect. I love that. That's the best way to finish. So, Glenn's just asking, what's the best catchy tagline, John, that you've ever heard?
Oh, I'm not going to give any favoritism.
I was going to come on, you can.
But I'm not. But I do sometimes. I do think of random ideas, and I'll ring people up after the meeting. And I go, just add this, and now I don't know if I should say this. So I'm not going to say of anyone who's I like most, because there's some that are fantastic. There's one. Well, I'll reflect on one. There was one, and he was listed services out for ages, and then at this one meeting, he swore like sod it, putting it nicely, and he said, I am the mortgage magician, and I will pull mortgages you can't get out of a hat. And I thought, wow, and everyone clapped, everyone loved it. And then this is what I was thinking about. I see people saying you need to speak to this guy because he's a magician with the mortgages. I think that's just really exciting and heartwarming. But I was at a face-to-face networking to support a charity, and we all went to, a lot of us from the groups who went there. And I just had a little joke when he did his pitch. He said anything about pensions, investments and savings and whatever. And I just thought, I don't know if he's got the balls to go, I will take the PIS and turn it into gold. And I thought that's catchy but ballsy, but I don't know if it's right. Pensions, investments and savings. I will take the PIS and turn it into your future gold. And I thought that's catchy, but I don't know if it's relevant. But I like it. It's playful. That's what it's about.
I was going to say it's standing out from the crowd, isn't it?
Exactly. I mean? If you're ballsy enough to say something like that, people will hear that once and they will never forget that. And I think that's part of what it's all about.
Yeah, perfect. Well, I could talk to you for ages, as you quite well know, but it's nearly 1 o'clock, so we're going to have to go, unfortunately. Tracy on our participants has said it's amazing to watch. She's loving it. Glenn's comment about he's loving the fact about the tagline. Absolutely loving it. He's going to be changing his. Steve going to catch up on the rest later. If anybody else wants to revisit this kind of webinar, and it's on our Facebook page, it's on our LinkedIn page, please do reach out to John for Cognates and the Spotted app. It's there, and it just leaves me to say thank you so much for coming along today. I've loved it.
Absolutely. I've loved it too. I got so nervous.
Even though we chat all the time, it's actually, there's loads of stuff that I've learned from you, and I know that people out there will have learned that too. So thank you so much. So and for those that are listening, we'll be back on Monday doing a lunch and learn there, and also next Wednesday. So if you'd like to join us then, you are more than welcome. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Julie. Thanks for